Hello, everybody. Good to have you all here. It's Wednesday, first Wednesday of October, 4th of October. So, thank you for having us. Thank you for being here with us today. As you know, Charles and I and myself and Charles today. So, bonsoir, Charles.
Bonsoir, Steven. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. Very happy to be here again with you for the continuation of this subject, these existential questions that we started last week. Our sister Silvia cannot be with us today because of some two teeth surgeries she has made recently, and she cannot speak. So okay, let's do this. Is when we are three. Okay, we can do Steven and myself, hoping the best recovery for sister Sylvia.
Yes. So, as Charlie said, today our topic is keep going is part two. All these existential questions. And based on this, let me show today's video, which is here. I need to do this. Okay. Okay. Let me share my screen.
We say everything's going to be terrible. Then people just sort of give up and they just say, well, give me another drink. If we say everything's going to be fine, then people become complacent and say, oh, it's all going to be fine. I don't need to worry. I think the future will be what we make of it. I think at their best, our religious communities should be little colonies of the future that are demonstrating today a better way of life that then others can be attracted to. And then our religions can help us take the next step and the next step into a more hopeful future.
Okay. So, short video today. Last week we focused more in what we are, what's the purpose we're here today, and the conversation today we will focus more on what is our mission here, where we go to. So all these questions come up to our mind in terms of, okay, what I'm doing here, why I need to go through painful moments, why I need to go through joyful moments, why I need to sometimes be stagnated, why I needed to have the poverty experience. While, in other hand, we do have people they don't know where to put the money, fancy cars, huge houses. Why some people born in very rich countries where they have laws, they have uh, uh, um, everything is running well by the government. Why there are other people they live in shanty towns, no pavement, no sewers, no nothing. I bet someday you have asked those questions to yourself. And today me and Charles will try to not give you the answer because the answer, your answer it's inside of yourself, so you need to look the answer from inside of yourself. But we can give you some touches in order to help you to find your truth. Am I right, Charles?
Yes, definitively. I think the things are always linked to this paradigm we are following, whether it's materialist paradigm or spiritualist paradigm. And everything is based on the point of view we are seeing the things. The example you gave on when seen on a materialist paradigm, the reaction of the one who has doesn't know what to do with his money is, okay, I'm lucky, I will really enjoy the maximum as long as I am alive, because when the life is ending, everything stops. And the other one, but bad luck for them, it's not my problem. And some other people who are looking to this and thinking say God does not exist, because if he would exist, he would he is infinitely good. So seen from a materialistic point of view, okay, why some people are in so bad condition and some other people are in some extremely good condition? So God cannot exist. So it's a kind of a reasoning when we are thinking in the materialist point of view, like a vicious circle where we are really going down, going down, going down. Whilst the spiritualist paradigm is a virtuous circle instead of a vicious circle, because in a spiritualist paradigm, okay, we have a soul. We are here incarnating on earth to progress. For this progress, we are ourselves selecting the type of life we will have, whether it's living in a castle or living in a favela or whatever. And this choice is made with our spiritual point of view. This means what is the most useful type of life that will help me to my soul to progress. And we can understand much better also with reincarnation, that we have several lives. Why sometimes when we select poverty, and some other times we select richness. But what you can say already today is both trials are difficult, but the one of richness is maybe the most tricky one, because it sets these blinds on us of the materialist paradigm. And when we have these blinds, we really hardly will progress in our soul, and we will have to repeat in the next life other trials in order to be able to progress. And that is then when, after having selected a life with a lot of facilities, with a lot of richness, and having seen the very poor result this led for our evolution, we ourselves made these choices, which seems not logical when we are here in the seeing on the materialist point of view, to have a life with more difficult situation, with poverty, because those ones are also difficult, because a lot of times the people who are poor are how to say hungry. They are seeing sadly all the rich people, and they have nothing, also feeling some kind of injustice, which also does not help a lot for the evolution. The real evolution is really that when we wake up to the spiritualist paradigm, and then when we have the trial of richness, we use these tools we have in hand, the assets we have in hand, in order to make something useful, not only for us personally, but for the society as general, or even for our planet. We can, for instance, build factories. We can help a lot of other people, and so on. So make a good use of the richness. And in the case we are reincarnated poor, again with a spiritualist point of view, we will understand that this is a trial for us in order to help us to progress, and we will see and face those difficulties with more resignation instead of being angry and revolt. And this is also what will help us to evolve better. And the point is always, okay, where are the proof? How can I prove I have a soul? A book has recently been published. I don't know if I think I did not mention it last week. It is Science of Life After Death. It is in English, so published by Alexander Moreira Almeida and Humberto Schubert Coelho and a third author, I don't remember the name right now. And this book is really a big step in this way to show all the different categories of evidences today that we are facing very frequently nowadays, that are leading to the hypothesis of the existence of the spirit, because this phenomenon cannot be explained only by material laws. And with regards to the blinds, another part of the book is explaining the philosophy of science, the methodology or the epistemology, if you prefer. Exactly, that is the book. So the third author is Mariana de Abreu Costa. Okay. And I really encourage, if you can, read this book or this ebook. It's available on both. It is really the philosophical point of view showing that a scientist who is blind is not following the rules of the philosophy of science itself. He's not a good scientist. The scientist should be open, even if a phenomenon seems to contradict the current assumed valid hypothesis. He cannot just reject it. No, this I don't like because it's against my hypothesis right now. This is absolutely going against the evolution of science, against the progress. It's putting the blinds. Maybe a little bit of pride, or maybe change resistance or whatever, is not a good scientific attitude. The scientist should always observe objectively, without preconceived ideas, all the phenomena that are happening in nature, if he wants to have a good concept of nature. And really, if we do that and examine all these best evidences, near-death experiences, mediumship, the proof of identification in the communications, also the proofs, all what is suggesting the reincarnation for Jan Stevenson, Jim Tucker, or whoever. But there are a lot of what we call convergence of proofs in favor of the existence of the soul, its survival, and its reincarnation. Okay. Because the one who is waiting, no, I want to have an absolute proof, the really convincing, undiscussable phenomenon, is dreaming, because this does not exist in science. Absolute proof exists only in mathematics or in pure theory, but not in practice. In human or natural sciences, it does not exist. We have had hundreds of cases where the scientists were thinking, no, this is now absolutely proven. Now we have the evidence, for instance, of the Big Bang at the origin of the universe because of this radiation, whatever, Nobel Prize, whatever, around. And now just James Webb is coming, James Webb, sorry, is coming, and putting everything in question again. That it was not one Big Bang at a given point in time at a given place, but several Big Bangs happening along the time in several different places. Okay, so you see what was considered as a strong evidence at one time is then put again in question soon after. And this is the essence even of the science, because uh, it is progressing. Humankind is progressing, our concepts are progressing, and science is also progressing. The laws of nature are what they are. Is our conception, our models trying to describe these laws of nature, which are not perfect, which are according to our level of understanding of today. But tomorrow we will progress in knowledge, in intelligence, and then the concept will progress as well. And one of these big progress is that in the universe, not only uh, the physical matter, the Mendeleev table and the periodical table of elements and whatever, and the list of particles and so on, all what is material is not the only form of matter that exists in the universe. And one other evidence of it is when we follow for instance, Thomas Kuhn, the theory, an epistemologist with scientific revolutions, he says a model at a given point in time has some anomalies, and that is then just before such revolution with a new model coming and replacing the old one. And what can we state as anomalies today is, I think Silvia mentioned it last week and even before, 95% of the matter and of the energy of the universe, we cannot detect it. We don't know where it is. So we have, by seeing 5%, we have laws which is governing 95% that we have absolutely no clue what it is. So this is at least an anomaly, and calling for a change of paradigm that will for sure come soon. And we, as spiritists, as spiritist body of knowledge, are deeply convinced that the next scientific revolution will be this change of paradigm from materialist point of view to spiritualist point of view. And then everything changes. All these questions, all these answers to these existential questions, that is the subject of last week and of today, will become a totally different answer, much more accurate, much more consistent, even with the notion of a divinity, of a creator, which is also, by the way, more and more proven by science itself. This creation of the universe, this uh, almost perfection, with the entropy which is always growing, this absolute, very extremely good order that was happening in the beginning. Also, the apparition of life on the Earth. When we calculate the probability, we as the scientists, they reach 10 elevated at minus 60 or minus 100, so it means zero practically. So all this is now pushing and bringing us to reconsider the paradigm and to remove these blinds that unfortunately too many people still have today, particularly in the academic and university and amongst the scientists, because more than half of the world population is already convinced that we have a soul. No, just science has to follow and to modelize it somehow in the best possible way.
Great, my friend. Also, we do have our dear friend Elsa is writing to us. Trevor, let me read what Trevor said. I think sometimes people want to blame God or another force rather than take responsibility to own life, choices, and own happiness. Let me read out the questions, then I will give answer your question, Trevor. Elsa, thanks God that Kardec, the missionary of Jesus, listened the call from the good spirits and brought a way to understand our eternal life, several existence. Wonderful. Thank you, my friends. Great. Trevor also said, once a human has awakening or awareness of their spiritual journey, do you think the life lessons become harder more than if we didn't be aware of our spiritual existence?
It's a good question. Huh? Do you want to start answering, Stephen?
Yeah. Uh, um, Trev, I couldn't agree more with what you said. Uh, we always try to find an excuse. We always try to blame someone instead of taking the responsibility. So I did this. I am responsible for that. That's a reaction of my actions. And we blame God. We say, oh, if God is all kindness, why he allows my dad drink a lot? Why he allows my dad uh, uh, beat my mom, hit my mom, or hit myself when I was child? Why he allowed to do this? The answer is the answer and the reflection we need to do here is more connected with what you said, Trevor, our spiritual journey, what you have in passing by, what was our actions. Oh, but I was a kid, I didn't have time to suffer enough to do bad things in order to get bad things. I agree with you. This is one of the proofs that life keep going. It's not like starts when you're born and ends when you die. So some actions you have here, you are suffering some challenges you are going here. It's either because you have done something in the past and then you needed to learn the lesson, you needed to go through it, or you want to go through this experience. You decided to say, hey, allow me to go to that family, allow that guy be my dad, that woman be my mom, because I need to learn with them. Both of us need to grow up as a family. Both of us need to grow up as a community. And this is an angle. But here, when we incarnated, luckily we don't remember this, because if you remember, this is not a task. This is not a lesson. It's like when you do an exam and someone is telling you the answers. Did you learn the lesson? No, you just passed. You just passed. You got your high grade and you passed. Happy days, but you didn't learn the lesson. What do you need to do in order to learn the lesson? You need to put your head down, read the books, do your research, and do your exam. Then you learned. And this is life. You need to come here to learn whatever you need to learn. Everyone has your own experience, everyone has your own differences, everyone has your own mission. And luckily, we do have friends that along the way help us going through the hardships. So, what I'm saying, and most people believe that the spirit is, oh, I need to accept. Well, first point, it is you need to have conscious of the situation. Second, you need to analyze, okay, I'm going through this moment here. What I need to do here? How I need to overcome? What's the lesson the universe, God, good spirits wants to tell me? What I need to learn? When you have a disease, for example, oh, I have diabetes. Okay, You have diabetes, not those for type 1 diabetes, but I have type 2 diabetes. So I bet you're eating a lot of carbohydrates, sweets, and all these things, and you end up with diabetes. And then when you have diabetes, you need to take a medicine for the rest of your life, you blame God. Who ate the sweets? Who ate the carbohydrates? Who didn't look for your own health? Who didn't do an exercise? And then now you come and blame God? This is a silly example, but this is how it works. Let's take the example from Charles, for example. I don't know, Charles, perhaps like in 2 years ago, 1 year ago, he is about to 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 go out home with a scooter. And when he is about to leave home without helmet, he said, correct me if I'm wrong, Charles. He just listened. So, oh, I need to go back. I need to get my helmet. He put his helmet, I don't know, some meters ahead. He fell the scooter and he broke his arm. Can you imagine if he didn't listen his conscious or the advice he have received? We don't know. He may not just broken his heart, his arm. He may have a serious injury in his head or something like that. So that's the
Steven, the helmet had quite some very heavy scratch in it. So I
yeah.
imagine those scratches on the skin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the point, because then if Charlie didn't put the helmet, he had an injury and or even died. Oh, why God did this to me? Hey, you are in a way in a scooter, electric scooter is speed. Any hit you think, yeah, anything you hit will cause a fall, and depends how speedy you are, this fall could be a problem.
Steven, can you please just put again Trev's question on the screen, please?
Okay, yeah.
Because I think you answered very well and very wisely the point here. But the question is indeed extremely interesting. So once a human has awakening or awareness of of their spiritual journey, so it is exactly what I said at the beginning. If we have awareness of our spiritual journey, it means we are following the spiritualist paradigm. The contrary is we are following the materialist paradigm. So the materialist paradigm, the materialist, he doesn't care about the spiritual journey. He just cares about the material things, makes use of them, etc. But as you told also, Stephen, if he does wrong things, sooner or later he will have to bear the consequences. So when we do a mistake, there are two cases. Either we know that we are doing a mistake and we even so we do it. So our degree of responsibility is much higher than when we don't know we are doing a mistake. I take always a good example, simple example, smoking. When I was young, everyone was smoking. It was considered good to be smoking and whatever. What happened then? A lot of people started to have a lung problem and even got some cancer and died from it. And this is how science evolved. Okay, why did I have a cancer? And then saw the cancerogen effect of tar, of nicotine, of whatever. And at that time, the people, even without knowing all these effects, were smoking, but they died from cancer. But nowadays it's different. Nowadays it's written black on white on the how do you say
Cigarette packet.
cigarette packets, and so you cannot say you didn't know because knowing that it is not good and doing it even so is, of course, increasing our degree of responsibility. We have no excuse later on. I take another example. Jesus came on earth, and due to this fanaticism of the religious people and of the population and whatever, no, let Barabbas free and put Jesus on the cross. And Jesus, when he was on the cross, what did he say? Father, forgive them, they don't know what they are doing. Because of fanaticism, because of all these preconceived ideas, etc. They were really not fully aware of what they are doing. So he said, forgive them. And this is illustrating this same question of level of responsibility. So the next part of the question, do you think the life lessons become harder more than if we didn't be aware of our spiritual existence? I think the life lessons are the trials are when we are facing difficulties. So typically, we are facing a big difficulty. For instance, an illness, a cancer, let's say. So, do you think what will be the reaction of the materialist person? Wow, everything will finish. I see the end of my pleasure on earth or whatever. Or the poor one says, it's the end of the miseries and whatsoever. But the spiritualist, he will behave differently. He will say, hey, I have a trial. I know that my soul will survive. I know that I'm incarnated here in a material body in order to progress. So I will do whatever I can in order to try to fix this cancer. And if I should go to the other side, I will go. If I can, if the cancer can be resolved, I will continue my life and working for my evolution. Which one of both do you think will have the best coping in front of this difficulty? Obviously, it's a spiritualist one. And because the materialist sometimes can really fall into big depression, and then we know the effect, and this is another proof of the existence of the soul. Everybody knows the placebo effect. Everybody knows the effect of the coping in increasing the chances of cure of such illnesses. And but how to say, on a materialist paradigm, we cannot explain it. But with a spiritualist paradigm, we can explain the action of the spirit on the spiritual body and on the physical body, which, when it goes positively, is increasing a lot the chances to cure from the illness. So all this is to show that when we have a better awareness, a better knowledge of our spiritual journey, in fact, it helps us in the coping of such difficulty. The same is, for instance, we have beloved ones in our family, spouse or husband or sons or whatever, and one of them is dying. So again, what is the best position in order to have the best coping of these things? The materialist is really doing auto-hypnosis to forget it, does not exist anymore, everything is finished, I will redo my life in a different way whatsoever. He may succeed in this, but the spiritualist one, he will have a better knowledge. It's a beloved one. He is now free. If he's a child, he will incarnate again. And when it will be my turn to be free, I will meet him again, and so on. So it much better condition in order to cope with such type of difficulties. And it's also proven, for instance, that the rate of suicide is much lower amongst spiritualist person. I do not say spiritist person, spiritist as well, of course, but even person which have a religious. Here we must be careful. Some religions are sometimes bringing a negative coping to that, but the one which are really have a good, true religion or a spiritualist vision have much less incidence of suicide than the people who don't have. And all this is now tens and hundreds of studies being done with all the protocols published in medical reviews are now demonstrating all this. So definitively, the lessons are becoming easier in the spiritual journey. The only thing is, which is harder, is exactly we know we have things which are not good. We know we have some bad tendencies. I don't know, selfishness, about pride, about hatred, about envy or jealousy or whatever. And this is where we have maybe feel a little bit more guilty for having these things, and we should exactly transform this into using our will in order to work on ourselves and to become better. uh. So the true spiritualist vision is really helping in all the point of views compared with the materialist paradigm. This is individually, and for the society, it's even much more, because the spiritualist sees in every person, every brother, whatever origin, ethnia, skin color, or whatever, brothers in humanity, and knows that through reincarnation, we can also reincarnate in a different ethnia, different skin color, or in different conditions, poor countries, and so on. So this is also helping in doing whatever is necessary in order to avoid and reject any type, any form of discrimination, whatever it is.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you. Yeah, Trevor, I think your question was answered. Please, everyone know Munir it is with us as well. Elizabeth Masson, it is with us. So thank you. Please, if you have any questions, speak up. Time is now. Time is now. And Charles, I think we needed to the other questions the other question we have. It is. Well, I think we got a question here. Okay, Munir is giving a compliment. The University of Virginia's Division of Perceptual Studies research portfolio includes investigating children who have memories of past lives, the nature of consciousness, and the mind-body relationship. I think Munir is referring to the studies from Ian Stevenson when he
And
started. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, what Dr. Muni is saying here, yes, also Jim Tucker in the UK, both are studying cases of past lives, cases in which someone just incarnated and say, "Hey, I had a family, I had a daughter, son. I used to live in that road, that street, that city. I was married with that woman." So, giving details. This is a simple example, but the books from Ian Stevenson and also Dr. Jim Tucker uh, give to us more real cases. They can understand, and of course, we cannot say 100% it is a reincarnation, but that's completely evidences. And like Charlie said today, science is here because today what they are sure, tomorrow they don't know anymore. So everything changes, everything evolves. Always there is someone who will come up with a better idea, better way to think, better explanation, better methodology, and do it differently. And also, Charles, we said uh, what's what's the we said not was the purpose, but why? If I need to learn, and we do have a spiritual life, why I don't learn there, do whatever I need to do there, and keep going, and I need to reincarnate and going through this. It's kind of awkward if the life keep going. Let me do this mission there, not here.
Yeah, you mean why do we have to reincarnate to progress rather than progressing in the spiritual world?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, there is a movie, this famous movie called No Solar, which is illustrating a little bit this. When you are in an astral city like No Solar in the spiritual world, everything is fine, everybody's kind and whatsoever, and so on. Okay, it's very good to be there and so on. But do you really progress? You can maybe learn some things. You can maybe acquire some knowledges and some experience and whatever. But let's take an example. You have difficulties with patience. You are impatient. How do you want to work to be more patient without being in situation where you have somebody challenging your patience? And this is exactly what we need, the situation we are when we are incarnated on Earth. We have a physical body. We need to take care of it. We need food. We need a house. We need to protect us. We need clothes. So we need to work to get all this and so on. So all these constraints are somehow bringing challenges to us. And these challenges, how to say, pushing us to have activities and to work are exactly what are helping us to evolve. And also the trials and the difficulty we may face are also helping us to evolve. And a little bit this no solar case I was saying is when we select an easy life here on Earth where everything is good, nobody challenging us and whatsoever, we also will not evolve as much as if we have a difficult life with a lot of challenges where we really have to dig ourselves to push and to find resources to overcome these difficulties, we will progress much more. In difficult situations, we are performing much more efforts in order to overcome the difficulties. Because when everything is okay, everything is fine, we try to relax, we tend to relax and not to make all these efforts. So that is why we select to incarnate on life, to have all these contingencies, all these needs, and also sometimes some trials in the life, because these trials are exactly the one that will help us to acquire more qualities and to get rid of our defects. So it's that is really the way to understand it. Now, this is needed for us. Why? Because we are at a, I would say, rather limited evolution level, where we still need to incarnate in order to progress. Okay, to progress further. Once we have reached a certain level of progress, there we do not need to reincarnate in physical bodies like we are today anymore. Okay, so the other positive thing of the spiritualist paradigm is it gives us an objective. We see where we are going to. We will evolve, get always better. Reincarnate on different planets, maybe with less difficulties, more happy, less violence, more fraternity, and whatever than what we are currently facing on the Earth. When we reach a degree of evolution that does not need us, where we have nothing to learn anymore on Earth, we will go towards happiness. And this is also something the materialist says, I will make use maximum of my time and whilst I'm alive, because at the end of my life, everything is finished. For the spiritualist, no, the vision goes much, much, much beyond that. And this is also a big motivation to make the efforts to get there, to evolve, to become a better person, to do good, to get rid of selfishness, of pride, of hatred, of all these wrong things, and to change them into patience, into love to our neighbors, into uh, abnegation, into charity, into doing good. And this, for our level of evolution, the best way is having it here incarnated on the earth. Still, other spirits, like for instance Jesus, he came and reincarnated on earth already. Did he need to incarnate on earth to evolve? No, for sure not. He is a type of spirit who has already reached a level of evolution which does not oblige him to reincarnate on a material body like us. But even so, he did it. Why? To come and to help us, to show us an example, and to leave us this wonderful moral lessons about good and bad. Do to the other what you would like the others to do unto you. Love God above all, and love your neighbor as yourself. All these fantastic lessons that are that you can find in every other religions, even not Christian. But he simply came in order to bring that to us, in order to help us setting this objective for our future, showing us the way to get there. So he came and reincarnated as a mission to help us. But he did not need this to. He of course evolved as well during this incarnation as Jesus, but he was not needing this incarnation anymore. So my objective is clearly, okay, let's work the best we can in order for our own embetterment, so that we don't need to reincarnate on such difficult planet as we are, or if we reincarnate, we reincarnate on purpose in order to accomplish a mission. It gives us an objective of life, and to find it's like we need to have a sense to understand, to give value to our life. Otherwise, we just are like a leaf which is being brought here and there and around by the wind in the fall.
Mhm. Charles, I like this expression in French. Let me put it here.
La vie est un grand drame, il faut le, ouais, that's it. Mais ce qu'il faut surtout, c'est bien dénouer. Ouais. That's correct. Yeah.
So life is beautiful as long as you know how to untie the knots, more or less like this. More or less like this.
What is the source of this statement?
I don't know. I always had this. I read in one book. I don't know. I don't know. To be honest, I don't know what is the source. Please, if you know, if anyone know here the source of these
I think
quotes.
on the internet we can find this easily.
Yeah, yeah. So I always had this in my mind is very, for me, is a very French.
Exactly.
So we need to know how to untie our knots. We need to know how to move around. That's the ability you need to learn. Unfortunately, we need the trials, because we learn when we learn. We learn when we teach. We learn when we explain things to someone. Okay. We can learn when we study. We can learn when we read. Of course, we can. But when we start to explain, that's when you will learn most.
And that's when you know that you have really learned it.
Exactly.
When you have to do it, that is then the trial, the test. Are you okay? Do you pass the test or not? And this is also one of the purpose of incarnation.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Let me see if we have any other questions here. No, Munir just agreed. Okay, in order to wrap up, Charles, I know we still have like 7 minutes. Uh, what we can say? Can we say for those who are not spiritist, they don't have any religion at all? Can we say to them that a religion here is not a solution, a way, but but it helps you to find a way?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, like a spiritist body of knowledge is the same. The goal is to progress. Okay. So spiritist body of knowledge is only one way helping us to progress, but it's not the only one. You have a lot of people progressing through other religions, doing good. My grandfather was Catholic. He was an extremely good person, but he was Catholic. So it helps him for the progress. And the example he gave us, he gave me, for instance, my grandfather is helping me even today. So he was Catholic, a good Catholic. And the same is valid for every other religion. I would say even atheist people doing good are examples, because this is why the statement of Kardec was, out of charity there is no salvation. He did not write out of Spiritism there is no salvation, or out of, like the Catholic Church, Roman one, says, out of the church there is no salvation. The Jehovah Witness, they say also, out of Jehovah Witness there is no salvation. No, it's out of charity there is no salvation. The charity is something neutral that anyone can do, whether it is following a spiritist or another religion or even atheist. He can do charity, and that is the way to progress. Okay, so spiritist body of knowledge is just a tool which helps us to find a way to progress. In my case, I started Catholic education, but unfortunately, how to say, I was challenging and questioning, how do you explain that? Why is this? Why is that? And very soon you do not get answers anymore. You get, no, it is like this, so you have to believe it, full stop. And this is then, when I was a teenager, in the adolescence, you don't accept it anymore. And the day I really, so what happened, I got not atheist or nothing like this, but simply I didn't care about religion anymore because it didn't bring me the answers. Okay, until the day where I was facing some spiritualist phenomenon, indirectly through a person which was close to me, and then I started to read Kardec. I thought, hey, that's then another approach. Because here I can read, I can understand. It's not just written, it's like this, you have to believe it, but it's written. Here are the arguments, the phenomenon, the facts that from the effects we go to the causes, and the best cause to explaining this is this or that, and it is confirmed here and there, and it makes sense philosophically, whatever. And by the way, it is consistent with what Jesus has told and what Mahomet or Buddha or whoever has told. So the approach is completely different, you see, because Spiritism does not tell you, believe it, and you will understand later if you can. Spiritism is telling, understand first, and then you will believe it if you want, letting us always the free will. So it's a totally different approach. Basically, how to say, it helped me, and I would say even today I'm much more Christian than a spiritist than when I was Catholic. You see,
Yeah.
because the thing you don't understand why, but your faith is very weak. But once you have understood, for instance, the reincarnation, it's not a question of belief anymore, because for you, you have seen the convergence of proofs, of evidences. So a reincarnation is really the best explanation to explain a lot of things that we see around us in the nature and in the life. So that is this going from the heteronomy to autonomy, which is another way to see it. Heteronomy, you have to believe it because I tell you it's written, or if you don't do that, you will go to hell. If you do that, you will go to heaven, with the stick on one side and the carrot on the other side. No, Spiritism is not like this. It's just explaining, here are the laws of nature. If you want to be happy, use your free will and make your efforts to be in harmony with these laws of nature, and that will bring you to the happiness, and you are really free to go with your speed, with your pace, and whatever. Nobody is pushing you and obliging you to do anything. So it's a totally different approach, embracing all these spiritualist questions, but not anymore on a religious dogmatic way, rather on a rational and logical way.
Yeah. Yeah. Bravo, Charles. Yes, we need. Again, we are not here saying you need to become a spiritist. No, you can do whatever you want. It's not. Spiritism is just one way to see it. Like for me, for Charles, Spiritism is not a religion. It's a way to live.
Exactly.
It's a way to live. You know. Well, Elsa wrote here. Now than never, so many cases of spiritual perturbation, and people are starting waking up to spiritual side, and spiritism can help among other health service.
Yes.
Yeah, so true.
That is another evidence. The psychiatry or psychology and or even other areas of medicine, they found out that by combining the classical medical treatments in addition to a spiritual treatment, you increase a lot the speed and the chances of recovery.
Yeah, yeah,
This is
true.
shown now by tens and even hundreds of studies wherever in the world, whatever country they do the studies, they come to the same result.
Yes, agreed. Okie doke. So let me show here. We don't have any announcements. Let's just put it here. Our next week topic: what kind of influence spirits act upon us. So it's kind of a series. So we understood now these all these existential questions, and now we will see how the spiritual side contribute or not contribute in our mission here on Earth. Okay, so it's 9 o'clock on the 11th of October next week. And this is it from us today, my friends. I want to say, oh, okay, also there's an announcement. My book in English and Portuguese, The House of Orchard. Next week, show links, please. Okay, my dear, I will show 1 second because I remember you sent me something here. Let me see. Here. Here. Aha. Let me. Let me put this. It's here. That's it. You ask, you get it. And I also put in the link on our chat if anyone has interest in this wonderful book from our dear Elsa. It's available in Kindle. You can also order by paper. So thank you, Elsa. We can also do a show with you, Elsa. You explain the book to us. We can go through it. So again, merci, Charles.
Thank you, Steven. Thank you all.
Thank
All
you,
the best.
Marco. Thank you, Elsa. Thank you, Munir. Thank you, Trev. Thank you, Faye. Thank you, Cristina, Chiara, Ippolito, Rebolo. Thank you, Leticia, Leandra, Monica, Mohammed, Ejilson. So, a lot of people today. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. God give you in double what you're doing to us, because before we started here, whoa, Charles, me and you.
Yeah,
So,
let's be happy.
yes. Yeah, thank you. And Silvia, please get well soon. Next week, we need you here. Thank you, my friends. Thank you. Bye
All
bye.
the best. Bye bye.